Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video, and as you saw by the thumbnail, we are going to talk my February reads. I made a TBR video at the beginning of the month, or the end of January, can't remember, but I gave myself 10 books with some room for mood reading, and mood reading did happen. So of the 10 books I put on my TBR, I read 6 of them. So didn't completely complete the TBR, womp womp. But I did get 6 of them, and 6 out of 10 is pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna start from the lowest rated books and work our way up. Let's go. Okay, so I apologize for the lighting change. I live in Florida and it simply decided to rain. So I'm working with what I got. Anyway, starting off with my 3-star reads, I had The Predator by Runex. It is book 1 in the Dark Verse series, and I tabbed a little. It wasn't my favorite, but it was entertaining. So we'll see if I continue on. Basically, this revolves around Tristan and Marana. I was like, what is her name? And they're basically in opposing mafias. And she gets information that he needs. So they sort of have to work together to kind of uncover and figure out this information. Again, not my favorite, entertaining enough. I might continue on with the series, but I haven't quite decided yet. And my other 3-star read of the month of February was, I was like, what was it? Completely forgot. Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. And this essentially is a campy horror story that follows the trope of burying the gay characters in media and in Hollywood. And it follows this writer, and he is finishing off writing the end of the TV show and wants to have some characters come out at the end of the show. And he's told by his boss that you either kill them off or we continue on and they just never come out. And he's like, no, I want them to come out. And then characters from his past, like, stories that he's written or past, like, shows or movies come to life and start stalking him. And it just was a very weird and wild ride to me. So 3 stars for that one. It was a crazy ride, but we did it. My 3.75 star read of February was my book club pick for that month, and it was Date Me, Bryson Keller. And this story is cute overall. It follows Kai and Bryson, and Bryson has this dare with his group of friends that he will date a new person every week up until spring break, and nobody thinks he can do it because he doesn't think like love is real or whatever, until Kai asks him out and he says yes. And then so they're going out secretly, and as the story progresses, they both start to feel more and stronger for each other. And Bryson is confused because he has never like felt these feelings for a guy before, and Kai has always liked him. And overall the story is very cute. It deals with the scariness of coming out, young queer love, and it is wholesome. I had 3 4-star reads for the month of February, and that was The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, Fake Out, and Trick Play by Eden Finley. I'm going to start with The Dead Romantics. After reading The 7 Year Slip in January, I just wanted to go down the Ashley Poston rabbit hole and read all her books. And The Dead Romantics did not disappoint. I found, while reading The Dead Romantics, that Ashley, in her writing, it's kind of a slow burn in the sense of you don't really know where she's going with the story, but you're still intrigued and you still read on until the end where everything wraps up and it's like a rapid fire of things are happening and excitement. And I really enjoyed this one. I still think The 7 Year Slip will be my favorite. The story follows Florence and Benji, and Florence is a ghostwriter for a popular romance novelist, and she has a deadline to complete the book that she's currently writing from her new editor, Benji. I believe he's the editor. Yes. And she is in a rut because she doesn't have that spark of romance anymore after her breakup, and she just doesn't know how to write this story. Every time she writes, she doesn't like what she's writing. And then she gets a call from her mom that she has to return home, and then something else happens where she starts to see Benji, and he helps her write this book. And I don't want to spoil anything because I didn't know going in what the plot of this was, and I think everyone else should read it pseudo blindly. I don't know if the back of the book reveals anything, so take this with a grain of salt, but this was another knockout by Ashley Poston. And I went on to read her newest one, A Novel Love Story, this month, and you'll obviously get my thoughts and feelings in the next wrap-up. But overall, a very good story. The other two 4-star books were, like I said, Fake Out and Trick Play by Eden Finley. This is book 1 and 2 in the Fake Boyfriend series. I really enjoyed both of these. The only reason they were 4 stars was there was an insta-love trope and things moved very quickly, and I just wish there would have been more character development in these 2 books. But overall, very good. Essentially, the series follows athletes who come out and they find their true loves. Book 1 follows Damon and Maddox, and Damon is a sports agent and Maddox is a football player, baseball player, one of the two. Anyway, and book 2 is Noah, who is a senator's son, and Matt, who is a football player. So I think Maddox is a baseball player, if I remember correctly. Maybe hockey. There's a bunch of different sports in these series, but anyway, both of these were Eden Finley, I want to say this was her first series she wrote, so finds her footing as she writes. And I did prefer Trick Play over Fake Out, but both were phenomenal. If you want to read a fun little series about fake dating and it has MM, I highly suggest this series. I had 2 4.5 stars in the month of February, and that was Pole Position and Deke. Pole Position is a F1 racing, enemies to lovers, age gap book, and from the front of the book, I expected more, and it was good. I felt like the enemies to lovers trope in it was more of a, I'm gonna actually be mean to you, instead of a banterous type of thing, which I prefer. So I think that kind of threw me, but overall I enjoyed it. It follows 2 obviously, F1 racers. One gets thrown into the, like, varsity league, as one would say, after another driver injures himself. And the other one has been in the game for a long time, and they kind of have to deal with each other and their different thought processes of the sport and stuff like that. Overall good. Not my fave. I think I just expected something a little bit different. And my other 4.5 star book was Deke by Ian Finley. Again, this was book 3. Yes, book 3 in the Fake Boyfriend series. And follows Ollie and Lennon. I just finished the last one not too long ago, so there are a lot of characters in my brain right now. Ollie and Lennon. And Lennon is a journalist, and Ollie is a hockey player. And they, like the rest of the couples in the series, agree to fake date, and things grow from there, and just so wholesome. And like I said a minute ago, Eden Finley really gets into her own as the series continues on. And you will see in a minute, as the books go on, they become more and more my favorite. But yes, I thoroughly enjoyed Deke. Ollie and Lennon were super funny. I saw a lot of myself in Lennon. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. 4.75 stars in the month of February. And I keep saying in the month of February. Obviously, this is February. So this is the February wrap-up. Anyway, the first book I'm going to talk about, because the other two, I fear I'm going to have some thoughts and feelings on them. So, the first book is Twisted Kingdom. Yes, Twisted Kingdom by Rena Kent. It was the last book in the trilogy of the Aiden and Elsa storyline. Yes, it's been a minute. I enjoyed this one. The trilogy got better as it went on. It was less high school bully romance and more of them finding themselves more, and there was more character development in this last one. So overall, phenomenal. The next two books are both I originally rated 5 stars, and then after really thinking about it, I knocked the rating down just a little bit because I had some issues with them, and so they weren't perfect 5 stars. One being Onyx Storm. Now, I did not enjoy Iron Flame when it came out, and so I was hesitant going into this one. And I originally listened to the audiobook before I had a physical copy. And I will say it's kind of a slow start, but once it picks up, it really picks up. And it did redeem Iron Flame for me. I enjoyed the journeys that these characters go on, the trials. The end had me gooped and gagged. I will tell you that. If you saw on my Instagram, I was gobsmacked at the end. And yeah, I cannot wait for the next one. There are still a lot of unanswered questions that we didn't get from Iron Flame that we thought we were going to get in this one, but it's okay. Hopefully we will have them answered in the next one, whenever that one comes out. But yeah, this one, I don't know if it's my fave, but it's definitely higher than Iron Flame. I'll tell you that much. And then the other one I read that was a 4.75 that I originally rated a 5 was Miss Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. And might be controversial, but this book was really a hit for me. I really enjoyed it. I loved the mental health representation in this book. I tabbed a bunch. I don't know if there you go. You can kind of see. I loved the relationship between Lucas and Scarlett. I can understand why it's so divisive on social media. People think it's too spicy. People think it's not spicy enough. People have issues with certain characters that are in the book. For me, I get it. And I think that's why I knocked the rating down for a little bit after reading it, because I did have some slight issues with it, but overall it was enjoyable. And this told you nothing about this book. This follows Lucas and Scarlett. He is a diver. No, she's a diver. He's a swimmer. Woo. And they, at Stanford, and they find out that they both want similar things in the bedroom. And one of the characters, actually Scarlett's best friend Penelope, gets drunk one night and says to both of them, "Oh, you should get together because you both like the same things." And why Penelope knows that about both of them, I don't want to say. But so they kind of agree to start this thing. Listen, these characters are 21. So yes, there is kink exploration, but I think people expected it to be like on a 50 Shades level, and it's not. So I think that's why people had issues with it. But for me, I just really enjoyed the mental health representation. There are a lot of good quotes in this book. Lucas, my God, he is. And that's all I'm going to say to that. So I personally enjoyed it, and I will be rereading in the future. Let's just say that. And for my 5 stars, I had 3 of them. Ancient History by A.J. Truman, Seraph by Lily Mayne, and Heart Song by T.J. Klune. Why did I just blank on his name? All 3 phenomenal books. Ancient History is book 1 in the South Rock High. Oh my God, I almost forgot the name of the series. South Rock High series. I wanted to jump into the next one, but I'm hearing, or I have seen some things about a reading order, so I might go back and read his other ones, but we'll see. Anyway, follows this teacher out at South Rock High, wow, words, who dated, yeah, I guess they dated in high school, and then something happened, and they stopped speaking after high school. Maybe even during high school. I cannot quite remember. But then this said guy comes back to teach at the school, and so they're forced to not only work together, but kind of rekindle or rehash out what happened in high school. And I thought it was just so very wholesome. Seraph by Lily Mayne follows Lilac and Seraph, and this book is so different from all the others in the Monstrous series because it doesn't have the human and the monster going on a journey and then falling in love along the way. Seraph is at the camp, the raider camp that Lilac is stationed at, and Lilac has always been intrigued by Seraph and is protective of Seraph in a way that he almost doesn't know why he's so protective of Seraph, and basically is the person in charge of trying to make Seraph better. And along the way, he figures out what makes Seraph tick, and this book shows such a deeper meaning of relationships, and it shows, essentially, not to be corny, but it shows that, love conquers all. And I loved the aspect of Seraph communicating with Lilac without speaking, and it really tugs on your heartstrings. And it is a phenomenal addition to the series, and I cannot wait to read Lore, hopefully soon. And the last 5-star read I had of the month of February was Heart Song by TJ Klune, book 3 in the Green Creek series. And if you haven't read these books, I'm not going to give too much away, but this book also tugs on your heartstrings. And for the first beginning, almost to the middle of the book, I had conflicting feelings because I didn't know whether to, like, root for Robbie or to root for everyone else, because they both had very valid opinions. And yeah, it wasn't till I think the 50% mark, I'm gonna be so honest with you, that I really was locked in, and I like binged the rest of the book, and really it took the original rating I had for it up. And TJ Klune does a phenomenal job of not only giving you a good story, but also making you think about things, pulling on your heartstrings. And yeah, I really highly suggest the Green Creek series, and I'm not even finished with it. So if you haven't read, highly suggest you go and do that. So yeah, those were all my books for the month of February. Overall, a solid month. I cannot wait to see what March brings. I posted my March TBR video, so if you haven't seen that, go and check it out. And I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.